Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into the microphone. Why? Not just because I can.
Whoa, a dropship. That must have been the crash we heard. Strider! Here, Doc, are you all right? Wake up, Doc. Please. You're all right. You had me worried there. Everything working all right? Good.
You all right down there?
We're fine.
Is dog okay?
Better now.
We've been waiting for you. Just follow the stream, then head up the other side. White Forest is right there. You can't miss it.
All right. Thanks. Okay, let's go. Come on, Gordon. Get the car and we'll challenge Doc to a race.
Yeah, I already know I will
Good
lose.
boy.
Because I can't drive for shit. But first, let us listen to the commentary.
Our main goal with this scene was to create a cinematic battle of the Titans, Dog versus a Strider. While we were excited with the earlier implementations, it became obvious that players were uncertain of their role in the scene. Originally, the confrontation built slowly, with Dog squaring off against the Strider. But having such a slow beginning proved problematic. It looked great in the trailer, but didn't play well in the game. Instead of the slow build, we decided to send Dog straight into action. He makes a grand entrance, jumps on the Strider, and the fight is on. The quick start helps to grab the player's attention, instead of giving them too much time to worry about what they ought to be doing.
The Strider has big parts of him that rip off. He spews goo everywhere. He's a great testbed for new modeling technology and our new particle system. We custom built him just for this sequence. With our episodic process, a lot of new technology comes online throughout development. Since any new technology takes a year or more to really work out all the bugs, we like to look for isolated areas, like this one, where we can test out new things without risking all the things we know already work. We did this with HDR in our Lost Coast demos. Once we're sure we didn't break anything, we can move the features back into general use. Since the Strider worked out really well here, he'll be the new Strider as we move forward, and we'll be applying what we've learned to any new monsters in Episode 3.
Yeah, sure you will.
Alex's robot dog is cobbled together from spare parts, all of which are in various states of disrepair. For Episode 2, we chose to use shading techniques to improve the look of Dog and better convey his scrapyard origins. Along with upgrades to Dog's texture maps, his shader now uses a combination of Phong shading and environment mapping to increase the apparent detail and diversity of materials, from rusty bolts to the damaged metal flaps salvaged from a combine scanner.
Racing Dog to the base was not a preconceived plan. It was born out of testing the level over and over, and repeatedly trying to keep up with Dog as he ran to the base. This was sufficiently fun for us that we began to figure out ways to encourage players to do it too.
Yeah, I'm not expecting to succeed at that, but I guess I can give it a try.
Looks like we need your help again. Would you mind?
Oh, he actually shows on the radar. It's kind of cool. Although I'm not sure why.
Okay, Dog.
Did they bolt one of those transmitters to him?
Step on it, Gordon.
And there it goes, I guess. No, maybe.
This is it. We made it.
Alex and Gordon Freeman!
Better luck next time, Slowpoke. Let us in.
But it was close.
Let him through!
Pat.
Thanks.
We had a feeling you were close when we saw a dog take off like that.
I was never so glad to see him, believe me. Well, Gordon, White Forest. We made it. Safe at last. So, a really cool experience was that while I was at Valve, I was talking to one of the animators in the hallway, and we're just carrying on a conversation. I was getting to know what he did, and I just happened to be looking over my shoulder and noticed that people kept popping their heads out of their offices. And one of the other guys noted to me that these people, ooh, bless them, they have to sit around and listen to my voice all day long. So for that voice to be kind of just chatting in the hallway was a little weird. And I guess I kind of liken that. I can understand it because the very first time I saw my voice on Alex Vance's face, it was so bizarre. And so when I watch people talk to me for the first time and they've heard my voice as Alex, they have the exact same expression. I'm like, I understand. I get it.
Yeah, that's because I think her face is actually modeled on a different person than her voice actress. I thought there was another commentary note somewhere over here, but I guess not. Okay, that doesn't exactly look that great.
Don't give up now, Gordon. Let's go in.
Hello, Dr. Freeman. Well, Gordon Freeman. And about time, too. Alex! Dr. Freeman, you made it.
Hey! Boy, are we glad to be here.
Yeah, we heard you ran into a little trouble out there. Combine's been trying to head in the front door. I think they learned their lesson. You mind if we keep dog patrolling out here?
Not at all. You heard him, dog. I'm gonna go see Dad. I'll catch up to you later. You take care of yourself.
I don't think Eli knows you're here yet. He's in Silo 1 access unit, right through here.
Shall we?
I don't feel anything anymore.
You and me
talking to
both.
me?
What now?
Oh no, what's that?
Well, now what?
Pretty sure this was...
All right, back to work, everyone. It's just another false alarm in the secondary silo.
Let's take a walk.
Same old Dr. Magnuson.
There's a pretty funny conversation going on between
You ever used an AR-2
those people
before?
here.
AR-2? No. Now, an AR-3, sure. Plenty of times.
There is no such thing as an AR-3.
Well, see, in the city, the place was lousy with AR-3s.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
No, it was. So do you know what the alternative fire method does on the AR-2? It kills hunters. How did you city folk kill hunters?
We sure as hell didn't use guns. We would just wrestle hunters to the ground with our bare hands. I used to kill 10, 20 a day, just using my fists.
Oh, so when you're out in the field, you're gonna be punching hunters?
In the field? I'm not going out in the field. I'm a radio operator.
That's it. Leave. You don't need to be here, and I'm not gonna continue the lesson until you leave.
I'm staying right here.
I am serious. Leave. Not going to continue
Wow, that's some
until you
pretty
leave.
serious grumpy face.
Excuse me. No time now, Doc.
Go on without us. We got stuff to do.
Okay, so let us continue now.
Hey, Gordon, man, you made it.
Dad,
Alex.
I was so afraid I wouldn't see you again.
There, sweetheart. We're together now. That's all that matters. And look at you, son. I knew if you both stayed together, you could get through anything.
Yeah? We make a pretty good team.
Yeah, well, that's good, because, well, now that the suppression field's down, we all have to do our part.
Dad?
Can you blame an old man for wanting grandkids? What happened to you?
Dad, it's not what it looks like. I'm fine.
Are you sure? Shouldn't we have that looked at?
Really, I'm fine. Where's Dr. Kleiner? We should get this data to him right away.
Okay. Yes, we should. He'll be glad for a chance to get out of the silo. This way, Gordon.
I think they made his animation a little better. He sort of visibly limps.
Competing for grant money.
Some things never change.
Okay, let me listen to the commentary here first.
It means a lot to me to have a multi-ethnic heroine. When I was growing up, that didn't happen a whole lot. I mean, maybe Storm from X-Men, I don't know. But it wasn't commonplace. So to have someone that's my type be in that kind of position is really, really amazing. I mean, I think it's a popular trend now, but that wasn't always the case.
Something to say?
Hey, Doc. Time for that later.
In sketching out the scenes for the episode, we noticed a lack of interpersonal conflict between the characters who had survived from Half-Life 2. Alex, Eli, and Dr. Kleiner have a lot of affection for one another, as you will see in many of the scenes. And while we all value the benefit of strong, positive relationships, we were happy to have Dr. Magnuson around to get irritated by all the hugging.
Do we have any idea how long until the super portal's active?
We don't know for certain. We're keeping an eye on it.
And what about the Combine? Will we be able to launch before they attack?
It's gonna be close. All it would take is one Strider to destroy our rocket. But we're ready for him.
I'm sorry we couldn't get here any sooner, Dad.
Don't worry, sweetheart. We're gonna make it. I'm just so glad to have you back.
I'm glad to be back.
The last thing I was submitting it for the Kleiner certificate of approval. Whatever troubles we might have had with the result of staffing and supply deficiencies. And get your cranial conjugal parasite away from my nose cone!
Now listen here, Magnuson. There's no call for hurtful comments. Good grief.
Now,
Eli, why didn't you tell me they'd arrived?
Don't worry, Izzy. They just got here.
it's interesting.
My
I hope I
dear,
won't
what a
miss it. Maybe it activates once I get closer.
To see you here at last. And Gordon, I see you in the HEV suit have taken excellent care of each other.
They're inseparable.
The data, people, the data! Kleiner, are you going to sync up the satellite, or should I postpone the launch to make time for a family reunion?
All right. I was just saying hello to Alex and Gordon.
Oh, fine. No one grants me a moment's peace, but by all means, unroll the red carpet.
Good grief. I only meant they might... Oh, never mind him. Now, my dear, where is this data packet you've been carrying? If I delay a single moment, I'll never hear the end of it.
You have my word on it.
It's right here, Dr. Kleiner. We've got a ton of data. The strange thing is, it was all attached to a transmission from Judith.
Transmission? From Judith?
Do you mean the message didn't get through?
We've got to see this right away.
Just let me start the decoding process, and then we can view it in the auxiliary control room.
For God's sake, hurry.
Yes, of course.
Another alarm?
Oh, what next in the parade of constant interruptions? Hello? Is anyone there? Anyone? False alarms all day. Damn crows have been nesting in the tracks. I do not know how I am supposed to concentrate with all of this racket. Freeman, you're not doing anything. Make yourself useful and find out what the hell is going on in there.
Yes. Gordon, if you don't mind, I'd feel better if you had a look.
Catch up with us when you're done.
Yeah, now an interesting but also kind of a sad piece is that Lamar over here crawls into the rocket, and like it's most likely that we blow her or it, whatever you call it, up to space at the end. So that's kind of sad. I guess if episode 3 or Half-Life 3 would ever come out, then Dr. Kleiner would be not in a great situation, having lost his favorite headcrab.
Due to the number of characters involved in this scene and the cramped spaces, we found that the actors were constantly pushing the player around in order to get to their marks. We developed some tech that allowed the actors to gauge the position of the player and the other actors, and choose among a selection of marks. This not only solved the congestion problem, but made scenes feel more dynamic.
Get down that ladder.
If you listened closely to the Vortigaunts in the Antlion tunnels, you may have heard one of them using a complaint very similar to Dr. Magnuson's here. Their affinity to Dr. Magnuson has caused some of his mannerisms to spread among them by way of their low-grade telepathy.
Quickly, man, the ladder.
Dr. Magnuson was a result of a decision to bring forward another signature character from the original Half-Life, along the lines of Dr. Kleiner and Barney. As we developed the character, we kept referring back to this line from Half-Life to keep us on track.
Gordon doesn't need to hear all this. He's a highly trained professional. We've assured the administrator that nothing will go wrong.
Though we liked the character who came into focus, we found that this voice was sounding too much like a caricature for our increasingly grim and realistic world. We like to hire actors with the natural voices that we want for our characters, as opposed to hiring actors to create voice characterizations. In John Aylward, we found someone who could deliver the brusque arrogance of the original lines, and also take the character forward into some of the richer and subtler opportunities we foresee for him.
Rather than just make up something that would fit our fantasies of a rocket, we designed Dr. Magnuson's rocket around blueprints from the Titan family of missiles. Grounding the details of our world in reality, making them as precise as possible, makes the invented, fantastic elements seem that much more believable.
Attention personnel, this is Dr. Magnuson. Since the secondary silo staff seem incapable of solving their little crow problem, you will be happy to hear we have put the popular Dr. Freeman on the job. We all look forward to his remedy, and I look forward to hearing the staff's excuses for why they couldn't handle it themselves. Thank you for your patience.
We intended White Forest to offer a change of pace from the constant action that preceded it. A few moments to reunite with old friends and get to know Dr. Magnuson, a breather before the big battle ahead. However, our first version of the sequence was a logjam of long, talky scenes. Gordon and Alex stood around listening to Kleiner and Magnuson argue at the top of the silo, then rode an elevator to the bottom of the shaft while Dr. Kleiner lectured them about rockets and satellites. They wandered into a control room to watch Dr. Mossman's transmission, and then hatched a plan to get her back. We knew we were in trouble when even the authors of the scene were bored, and no one had the patience for the revelations that followed. We divided the sequence into a number of smaller pieces that could be interleaved with solitary exploration and some combat. This required rebuilding the path and moving the control room upstairs, where the transmission scene became a reward for surviving the secondary silo. As a result of these changes, the White Forest experience is more varied, the narrative comes in digestible portions, and the players are able to play at their own speed, rather than being led by the nose the entire time.
This steam jet is an example of something we call a mechanic refresher. It's meant to refresh the player's memory on how to perform a certain task they may not have used in a while. In this case, we remind the player about using valves to turn off steam in a relaxed environment. In the map just ahead, this trick will be fresh in their mind, and they'll be far more likely to realize they can use steam jets tactically when they encounter them in a combat situation.
Okay, I think I actually need to use it. And they surely won't summarily execute me, because I am Gordon Freeman after all.
Freeman! The Magnuson has instructed me to admit you into the secondary silo. The secondary silo can be reached through here.
He looks kinda cute with his lab coat.
In Half-Life 2, when we first decided to make Vortigaunt ally characters, we played around with having a prominent Vortigaunt companion. Because of their bowed posture and semi-servile manner, this individual was dubbed Heap, after Dickens' character Uriah Heep. In Episode 2, we named the prominent Vort at White Forest Base Uriah. In Episode 3, we'll find out Dickens' unused middle name for Uriah Heep.
I don't think we will, actually, but... oh well.
Originally created as a minor background character, the Vortigaunt lab assistant, known internally as Labby, was so popular with playtesters that he evolved into a fully developed character with a unique name and a special place by Dr. Magnuson's side.
Yeah, as I said, he looks kind of cute in this lab coat.
God's sake, Freeman, what is taking you so long? Oh, I cannot concentrate with all of this racket. These feathered fiends are the most persistent I have ever... Wait, what is this?
Save.
Hey, an extra pair of hands. Right through here. Magnuson must have sent you.
Okay.
My God. Oh dear. This is a breach. A breach. Attention! Attention, personnel! This is Dr. Magnuson. We are experiencing a breach of internal systems. Please bear with us while we pinpoint the location of the breach.
Okay. Can I exit through here? Not really. I can hear man hacks. Actually, I can utilize this, which is quite a good way of dispatching the hunters, provided you have the necessary ammo. Okay, that didn't exactly work. I thought I could maybe shoot it through the rails, but such luck. Okay, I will try to I think there may be one more, but let me save for now. And I will eliminate the last one with the energy ball, if possible. Okay. Okay, I think I can finally listen to the comments in this area here.
One of the main goals for hunters was to make the player feel he was vulnerable wherever he might hide. This arena in the secondary silo became our testbed for improving the hunter's close combat behavior. A classic combat space, featuring multiple exits and many possible paths, we tuned it for a strong cat-and-mouse gameplay experience. While players have many options for escape, the map is designed so that hunters will never completely lose them, but always be able to pursue and flush the player out of hiding.
Where now? Probably where the giant white pointers on the red field point to. Planning on this going this way, but safe. Oh no, it's the surprise shotgun guy. I must admit he kind of surprised me. As usual, I will access the commentary at the end of the combat. Okay, another point for you. Okay. I think that's all of it for now.
Level designers and artists now have the ability to create unique effects as needed, for gameplay or to add dynamic life to a level. In this case, this simple water leak wouldn't have been possible before without involving a programmer to create a new class of effect. Thanks to the new particle system, unique effects like this are easily created as needed, without any programming. This leak adds a visual point of interest to the area and also blocks direct line of sight into the nearby corridor without blocking the space itself. These effects can be placed and controlled within levels, attached to animation events of characters, or called by code. Allowing particles to be attached to objects in the world, emitted from a model's hitboxes, and locked to bone positions allows them to serve a wide variety of functions, such as the new Vortigaunt beams or the burning effect of a zombie. We hope this feature will allow level and mod authors to create a wide variety of effects quickly and easily to suit their purposes.
Okay. You know I'm a little wasteful with all of those grenades, energy balls and stuff, but really felt the best idea to just dispatch the hunter quickly when I had a chance. It wasn't the best time to reload. unfortunately there's a lot of hit points, health kits laying around. It's a little late while I'm recording this because I want to finish the game today. I'm a little tired, but...
Freeman, I repeat, there has been a breach of the secondary silo by way of the overhead launch doors. I will trust you to seal the silo doors.
Okay. Wasn't the best engagement on my part, but at least I survived for now. Would be another one of those moments, although I guess he doesn't have a convenient way of communicating. It's not like he has a radio on him or something. Okay. Here. Save.
Is anyone still alive in there?
Okay. You actually can get kind of foreshadowing, not foreshadowing, but you actually encounter the... although I guess you could call it foreshadowing as well, because you actually encounter the advisor briefly flying over freely without his pod.
And I am pleased to announce the secondary silo has been sealed.
Okay, totally.
Back to work.
I thought they would have dealt with.
Gordon.
Here, have a med kit.
Okay, that's nice of you.
Okay. Glad that's over. We couldn't get in till you sealed off the silo when the blast doors opened up.
Regrettably true.
I better let my dad know you're all right.
Take this med kit.
I wonder if I can just
Dad?
Yes, Alex. Is everything okay?
heal myself fully.
Yes, he's fine. And thanks to him, the base...
Take this med kit.
We're about to watch the transmission. Just...
We'll head right over.
Oh, there was another medkit here after all, so I guess I don't have need
must follow.
Of this guy anymore. But this is actually not a bad place to end the episode. Maybe I'll be able to... Although, you know what, I will carry it over a little because then maybe I'll be able to wrap it up in the next one without exceeding
If you
1
would
hour
take
of
the
time.
Freeman from here, I can return to my place of honor at the side of the Magnusons.
Sure thing. Thanks for the help. Dr. Kleiner told me that Judith headed north in a helicopter right after they got here. But he wouldn't tell me why.
I'm fairly sure I've pinned down the location of the project. It's hard to say how much of it might have survived intact or whether there's anything remaining that could compromise our work if it were discovered by the Combine. We'll need to take a close look at it, of course, but I should be able to give a better opinion within a few hours. If the site is where we think it is, then it should be no more than... I'm gonna cut this short. We may have been spotted.
Never have let her go.
There was no stopping her, Eli. Wait a moment. There's something else here. It's the Borealis.
Good God.
Incredible.
What? The Borealis? It's real?
Oh yes, quite real, despite its almost legendary stature. Our peers at Aperture Science were at work on a project of some promise, but in their rush to beat Black Mesa for funding, they must have compromised ordinary standards of risk. We heard their research vessel had simply disappeared, vanished, with all hands, and even part of the dry dock. Few believed the Borealis would ever be seen again.
It should have been lost forever.
Ah, but now that we've found it, we can use it against the Combine. Did you
Use it? That thing has to be destroyed.
But think of the advantage for humanity. We can't simply waste all that potential.
Has Black Mesa taught you anything? There's no controlling that kind of power.
Well, yes. There's always a risk, Eli. But my goodness, we have coordinates, blueprints, hailing frequencies. Quite ingenious of Dr. Mossman to hide it all in the carrier wave.
Well, that means she's still alive up there. But if the Combine catch her, they'll tear out everything she knows. There'll be nothing left of her.
But we don't know for sure
I won't
that...
take that chance. I'm going after her.
Now, Eli, the only thing worse than Judith falling into their hands would be if they should get a hold of you. She may know the particulars of the Borealis, but you know everything about the Resistance.
Listen to Dr. Kleiner, Dad. Gordon and I are more than able to handle this. We'll get her back.
Kleiner, where are you? Why isn't the decoding finished?
Oh, fine. The code. Yes, Magnuson. It just needs a little bit longer.
You're waiting for the Combine's go-ahead. They'll soon be here to give it to you in person.
I'll hurry it along, Magnuson. I'll be back as soon as I finish.
Dad, are you okay?
Not again. No, I can't. I can't let it happen.
This is pretty creepy.
Not another Black Mesa.
I guess this counts as a G-Man sighting.
Prepare for unforeseen consequences.
What did you say?
Dad! Okay. It's okay. Just lean into me. Let's get you off your feet.
Thank you, baby. I'll be fine in a minute or two.
Okay. Do you need anything?
Actually, Alex, would you mind getting me a cup of tea? There's a hot plate in the old staff room.
I'll be right back. Gordon, just keep an eye on him.
We're not going anywhere. Thank you, baby. Unforeseen consequences. The last time I heard those words was back at Black Mesa. You had just stepped into the test chamber when he whispered them in my ear. You know who I'm talking about. Our mutual friend. When he brought in that crystal, I knew I should have aborted that damn test, but I didn't. The whole world went to hell that day. And now, Now he's using my little girl, putting words in her mouth. God damn it. I should have known when he rescued her it was for his own damn reasons. Gordon, there's so much I need to tell you. Between us, we may finally have a chance of,
Here you go. Is everything all right?
There's nothing, honey.
All right, people, change of plans. There is no way we can launch before those striders are... Oh, excuse me if I'm interrupting tea time. I'll just step out until you've finished, if that's more convenient. Well, Freeman, I believe I've found the perfect use for you. Follow me, quickly.
Yeah, this whole scene was rather creepy with the cryptic references to the G-Man and the way he instigated the whole resonance cascade by providing the sample for Black Mesa. And unfortunately, as I said, it's unlikely that we'll ever learn the full scope of who G-Man is and what was supposed to be the endgame for the Half-Life series, which is unfortunate. I remember for a time after finishing episode 2 when it originally released, I was really anxious to learn what's next. But nowadays it's simply a matter of of reality that is unlikely to ever happen.
So a lot of times we'll try a line in several different ways, like set a different mood for a different scene, or maybe just do a different take on a line. Like one might be, it sounds trite, but one excited, one not so excited, or one a little more pensive and thoughtful. Or suggestions are always thrown out there for new reads, and it's the coolest kind of teamwork. It's not just here's your script, go. It's let's work this out. Let's find the best middle ground, and everything is always pliable. If it's not working, maybe we'll go back and do an instant rewrite or something. And for me, that's creative heaven. Absolutely.
Aperture Science, being specialized in the development of portal technology, fit naturally into the cosmology of Half-Life. Rather than forcing Portal into the Half-Life franchise, we used it as an opportunity to make our world bigger. By suggesting a long-term rivalry between Aperture Science and Black Mesa, we open up possibilities in both games that didn't exist when they were separate entities.
Okay, I may go a little bit further. Just to
Freeman, striders are coming.
Wrap it up in the next episode, maybe.
Those damn things could shoot down our rocket. We don't dare launch until all striders are destroyed. Now, you've proved yourself capable, and the staff seem to respect you. Therefore, I'm putting defense of White Forest and this ingenious new weapon of mine in your hands. We call it the Magnuson device. Not my chosen label, you understand, but it seemed to please the personnel. Now look lively in there. Warm up the delivery port. Whatever you say. Now, what it is a sort of sticky bomb, although cleverer than that makes it sound. From your point of view, you merely pitch the device at the Strider's hull, then blow it up. I've struggled with a mechanism for launching the device, but, well, your zero-point energy field manipulator clears up that little problem. Now follow me, and we'll let you get in some practice while we still have time.
The Strider Buster, or Magnuson device, started life as a Half-Life 2 weapon called the Hopwire. This was a weapon that would leap into the air and create physical connections via ropes to the surfaces around it. Once attached, the ball would be suspended in the air, ready for action. We never shipped that weapon because it wasn't generally usable enough in our environments, especially outdoors. One side experiment created the Black Hole Hopwire that the mod community found in Episode 1's code. You can still find videos of this in action on YouTube. The black hole version created a true physical vortex that sucked anything near it into an incredibly dense singularity. This created a small dense block comprised of all the mass and matter the vortex had collected, which the player could then pick up and hurl at enemies. We returned to the Hopwire for Episode 2, where we thought we could use it to tie the Strider's legs together and make it trip. But the mechanic of hurling and attaching the Strider Buster was more fun for players, so we moved the weapon in that direction.
This whiteboard art went through several iterations, from highly stylized to absurd, through to something we believed we could ship.
That doesn't exactly seem like a work of a scientist. Although I guess it had to be simple enough for the player to glimpse at it and, understand the meaning instantly. And you get some equations here just for good measure, so I guess it's passable.
Now, out in the field, we'll supply you with all the Magnuson devices you need through delivery ports like this one.
For the safety of the base, these devices are deactivated. They cannot explode like those you will find in the field.
Go ahead and take the device. That's right. Now toss it with the main body of the...
Okay, that was...
As you can see, the Magnusons are fragile. They will disintegrate immediately if they miss their target. Good. Now, take out the firearm of your choice and shoot the device. There you go. Not too difficult at this range, is it? Gets a bit harder when it's moving about and firing at you, of course. Now, let's move on to a more challenging task. Uriah, send the target to the far end of the rails. Very well. Try it now. Magnificent device, isn't it? I'll be right over here when you are ready to head up. Had enough? Your car is fueled and ready to go. Now, every building in the valley has its own dispenser port, so you'll have ample supply of explosives. Now, I must get back to my rocket, Freeman. I'm relying on you not to squander my trust, or my Magnusons. Oh, and Freeman, if you pull this off, I might just forgive you for that debacle at Black Mesa. You know the one I mean, involving a certain microwave casserole.
That's funny that, when he first says the debacle at Black Mesa, you're obviously starting to think about the whole ending the world scenario with the resonance cascade, but no, he's just pissed for 20 years because you ruined his dinner.
Fans of Half-Life 1 may remember a gag involving a microwave oven in the Black Mesa lunchroom. If you push the microwave button several times, the casserole inside it explodes. A memorable experience for many first-time players of Half-Life. In Episode 2, we thought it was finally time to let you know whose lunch you had ruined, and give you a chance at redemption.
Okay, so I guess with that we can end this episode. Save, and see you in the next one. Bye.